So hi guys, so I'm here today with another makeup artist, Alexander, and I used to work with Alexander when I was at MAC. When I first started at MAC, he was an artist at my location. So yeah, we've been friends ever since, and that was in 2013. I think I started with MAC. I'm not with MAC anymore. Alexander's not with MAC anymore. But we learned a lot there, so we're going to teach you some tips and tricks that we've learned along the way.
For this look, you can kind of see I was really inspired by her just to do something really subtle, natural glam. She's got beautiful skin, beautiful lips, she's a beautiful girl. So for all of you gorgeous ladies out there who want to look glamorous, but maybe you want to see some techniques for getting really natural looking skin that's still highlighted and contoured and still looks really beat without looking thick or heavy. I really spent a lot of time talking about the skin in this video, so I think you'll like that.
How long have you been a makeup artist for?
Oh gosh, I started dabbling with makeup probably back in 2010.
So like 5 years.
So almost 5 years now. Yeah, it's been like a crazy journey, but I'm finally in New York and I'm finally freelancing, so things are going really well. And if you guys have more questions or you guys want to see any other looks, you can feel free to follow either of us on Instagram.
Yes.
No, we can be a little more interactive with you guys too.
Where did you start? Did you start off at Sephora? Was that like your first makeup job?
Yeah, my first job ever in cosmetics at all was in Sephora, and I actually highly recommend it. It was a great place to start because I got to learn a lot of different brands, and all the brand reps come in, they're always teaching you different things about the different lines, so I feel like if I would have gone to MAC in the beginning, I would have only learned how to use MAC products, but I feel like I have a lot more breadth and knowledge of different brands because...
You were with Sephora.
Yeah, I was with Sephora.
And then you went on to MAC?
Yes, I went on to MAC after I was at Sephora. I was with MAC for 2 years. And that was another amazing learning experience. You get so much artistry training there, and you're just around so much talent there that you literally, like, just by osmosis you get better just by being around all those good makeup artists. And it's one of the only environments I've been in where makeup artists are really like open to teaching you
one another.
Exactly, because when you start freelancing and when you start working backstage, like, people can be a little bit, you know, and it makes sense because everybody's, you know, trying to get ahead, but MAC is really cool in the sense that people are really open to teaching one another. And that's what I really miss and enjoy, and that's why I came over here, so I could learn from the best and we could kind of put our heads together and make a video together.
Also, when you're with MAC, you make the bestest friends.
It's true. That's very true.
Friends that you're gonna be friends
forever.
with.
You're MAC family. They're your family.
Seriously,
They're friends,
MAC
they're family.
Like, if you work for MAC, you're gonna know what we're talking about. You're gonna be like, yes, you're so right.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm just gonna get into the video now. We're gonna stop talking and we're gonna show you how we did this glamorous makeup look.
I hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah. Alrighty, so we're gonna start with skin first, right?
Yes. So I'm just gonna start with a little bit of Fix Plus. If you have Fix Plus, it's a great thing to use.
My favorite.
And I always like to put this on before the moisturizer because moisturizer soaks in more deeply to wet skin. Kind of helps it to marinate and soak in. And Madison has pretty dry skin. So I'm trying to give her kind of a double shot of moisture.
This cream, the one that I always use, I always use this one, so same one. It's a good one, everybody uses it. So.
And it kind of gives a little bit of a dewiness that reads through the makeup as well. Yeah. So if you're super dry, you need something rich, it's beautiful and it's thin, it lays really beautifully over the skin. I'm not going to use a primer on Madison today because she has such beautiful skin. You can already see that kind of glow coming through. Tilt your head to the side a little bit so you can see it.
Like this?
Yeah, you can see it coming through and giving that shine. It's beautiful. This is a small duo fiber brush. I don't know the brand.
Yeah, that's from Makeup Addiction Cosmetics. Okay,
perfect. I'm using all her makeup today, so I don't know what anything is, so you'll have to forgive me. It's so light, it's so wispy, it's not very dense. Yeah. And I'm gonna be adding the foundation on in about 3 different layers. So this first layer is just to give a really even soft base. I'm using Giorgio Armani Liquid Silk Foundation. And
then with this brush also, I always say in my videos that I like to use a dense brush because a denser brush is going to give you the illusion of more coverage. Now this brush, like Alexander said, it's not so dense, so it's not going to give you like that super coverage look. It's kind of just going to give a lighter.
Exactly.
I'm going out strobing, which is kind of close to the trend. It's in, which we've all been doing forever, but yeah, exactly.
Just tie my hair up so you guys could see better. I feel like it's in the way.
This is actually Studio Fix Fluid NC50. I love this for contouring on anybody who's like, let's say NC30 or deeper at MAC. My mind works in MAC tones because I worked there for so long.
But that's good though because they'll like kind of know, you know.
Okay, cool.
I feel like a lot of people wear MAC foundation, so they can always like.
And you can always go there. I found this amazing matrix on Temptalia that you can type in your foundation shade, and then it'll come up with every other brand and the foundation shade that you would wear in that brand.
Wow.
Isn't that dope? It's such a good idea. Yeah, so you can go there too.
People always ask me that too. They're like, what's your shade in MAC? So I could know my shade in like another foundation, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So stop asking her. Just go on Temptalia.com. Alright, so now I'm taking NC50, and what I'm going to do with this is Studio Fix Fluid. Now the reason I chose Studio Fix Fluid, because it's a matte fluid, and it's dense, it's got high coverage. What that's going to do is it's going to kind of create a little bit more of a bronzy, sun-kissed effect. And I like to think of this as almost like a transition color, depending on how deep your skin tone is. Now, since you went out and you got some sun, I feel like this is going to be a little bit more like a transition color because it's so subtle. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to redefine right at the base of the contour with something a little bit darker and then blend it into that. I'm taking brown paint stick. So this is a product from MAC that I actually depotted and it's great. It actually works for anybody. Like,
did you get that at Pro?
Yeah, it's from MAC Pro, so don't go into your regular MAC counter asking for it because they won't have it.
You get it online. I know there's not really too many MAC Pros everywhere.
Exactly.
So.
This is actually what Pat McGrath uses to contour
really?
On everybody. Yeah, I heard somebody who worked at MAC Pro New York told me it works on everybody. It's just about the quantity that you use, but it's that perfect kind of cool toned gray.
Right into the cheekbone. Very light. I like to say that it's almost like I'm tickling you with a feather. And barely touching her skin.
You have more playtime to blend with a cream. And I feel like also they blend into each other more easily.
Creams are more natural than powders.
Especially when you layer them. If you're layering powder on top of powder on top of powder, the skin's not naturally so matte. The biggest difference between a cream and a powder is the finish and the wear time. So most creams aren't gonna last as long as powder. So it depends. If you're just doing it for a photo shoot or for a picture for yourself,
cream is the way to go.
Totally.
You want to be more natural.
Exactly. Our camera died. So we stopped it for a second and I went ahead and did her nose contour, but I'll kind of tell you guys what I did. Generally speaking, I don't contour the entire nose unless it's a very flat and very broad nose. Pick an area of the nose, like maybe it's a slightly wider up here and then it gets a little bit more thin, or what's most common is that it's a little bit more bulbous at the tip and then it gets a little thinner, kind of like mine. So for a nose like mine, and actually Madison and I have the same nose shape, what you want to do is you want to focus on the area that's a little bit larger to contour and then leave this alone so that you kind of, you're not thinning out something that's already thin. I took the NC50 and I kind of blended it all over, and then I took the brown paint stick, and what I did is I kind of put that right on the sides of the nose, right here and right here, and then I blended it out into an L. Now we're going to move on to highlighting.
Yay!
So,
my favorite part.
So now I'm going in with this Bobbi Brown concealer palette. I'm going to use the color Warm Neutral, which is the bottom one here. I'm just going to use little touches and I'm going to really focus on blending it out. And you can kind of see where that light is naturally hitting her face in camera. I'm actually going to kind of go over that with the highlight. I like to use my finger because the natural ridges will pick up a little bit of the excess product. So I love to tap and blend in concealers with my fingers.
And I'm taking just whatever's left on the brush. I'm kind of using that, and Madison barely has any unders at all. They really, like, it blows my mind to produce this. So, I'm just using a little bit.
Honey kind of is the blend out color. Same way we did 2 colors for contour, I'm going to use 2 for highlighting. So I'm using Honey just to start this highlight in the center of the forehead. Now I'm not going to bring this very high because, as we were saying before, the quadrant of her face that I want to shade the most is this one. So I'm going to focus kind of right on the center. Now I never go all the way down to the end of the nose because that can actually tend to elongate the nose sometimes.
Just press that in and then blend that out with my finger.
And you can see when I'm using my finger, I'm tapping. I'm not swiping. If you're swiping, you're going to remove too much product. Now to set the highlight and contour, I'm going to use a little bit of banana powder. And I really like using loose powders because they're more finely milled, so they're going to sit and sink into the skin a little bit better. They're going to look a little more natural. And I'm going to use a fan brush because literally I just want to put enough to kind of blend into the skin and mattify, keep things from moving around. I don't want to put so much that we lose all this like glowy goodness. Take this over the areas that we highlighted.
A little bit right down the bridge of the nose.
I like to use a little bit of a bronzer to set the deeper parts where I've contoured. You don't want to use the same color powder all over because you're literally just going to erase everything that you just did. And especially if you're using one that matches more of the highlight tone, it's going to go gray, it's going to go ashy. I'm going to mix a little bit of Mineralized Skin Finish in dark, which is just a little bit too light for her, so I'm going to mix it with a little bit of MAC's Blunt, which is a matte blush. I'm going to mix a little bit of these two, those areas where I contoured.